Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out Land of the Vikings. From Vikings to Vikings, lead your village and expand it into a thriving city. A wise Jarl must manage resources, survive harsh conditions and enemy raids, and guide their fellow Vikings to work together through social conflict. Skal. It's out now on Steam. Early access, and it'll cost you £16.19 with 10% off on special offer. Before we start, don't forget, if you've enjoyed the video, drop it a like, comment below to let me know what you think, and most importantly, subscribe for more content. Right, let's get on with it. The game kind of just drops you in. Like, there's not too much going on. You got a few buildings and you crack on with it. First thing I did was spend all my research points. This was a mistake. If you're going to play this game, I would recommend you save your research points for the main things, because your research points unlock buildings and the game isn't super generous about giving them out, so I wasted a lot of mine on doing like the sideways things rather than going straight up and actually unlocking what I need. My first objective in the game was to build a marketplace, so I set about gathering some resources, hitting some rocks, cutting some trees down, and assigning some of my workers to become builders. How the job works in this game is you have labourers and builders. Labourers will go out and get you materials, whereas builders will obviously concentrate on your buildings. Getting that balance right is actually quite important. And also every single building has a job as well. So like the market here, you got to put someone in there, warehouses, gatherers, that sort of thing. You can assign people to the roles. And just like that, the market was complete. I would hope, and one thing I will say about this game is when you complete a task, I think there should be a bit more of panache. Like, something should happen like, yay, and show you what you've got and achieved, rather than just like, an objective complete and leave it out. I'd like to see a little bit more. Next objective was to decorate your village. So decorations have certain perks to them. So like if you put a fire pit down, it'll add light. You can add money ones. You can do like defensive ones and attacking ones and all that sort of thing. They all have little symbols beside them. What I will say about this, and just to point it out, I surrounded a building with loads of these. It looks pretty silly, but it doesn't stop you. You can put as many down as you want. If you look here, you can see the little rings formed around the buildings. That means if you put that in that location, it will give like that building a buff. And if you put as many as you can in that area, or enough of it, or the right things, that will get like a permanent buff. I quite enjoyed that feature. Next up was our first dilemma. So you get these dilemmas popping up. So basically it's saying that someone has been beaten by the village bullies. He's mad and stuff like that. So I can either exile him or I can pay for the loss and you'll become disabled. Really weird. Unfortunately, I get this task about 50 times. So this guy keeps getting disabled. I thought that was a little bit silly. Again, I think that kind of needs improved a little bit. The next task on the list was to build a gatherer hut. The gatherer hut like collects berries and stuff. That didn't take too long. Next up was a herbalist. They get the herbs from the gatherer, and also a warehouse to store all my stuff. The warehouse does run out of space. I did need 2 by the end, so like 2 or 3 hours in I needed 2. But yeah, it holds quite a lot. At this point, I even built a little farm because I realized I was running out of like food. So what you can do in that is you can do wheat or barley. Wheat's used for bread, barley's used for beer and that sort of thing. You put in what you want to grow, press like grow, it grows, and then you can harvest it down. After that, you can assign workers to it, and then they'll get made into other things. One thing, you have to like gather resources, obviously trees and rocks. You have to mark them, like you can choose which ones are going to be chopped down. Trees do grow back, which is really cool. However, once you mark a tree for like destruction, it won't then remark it next time, which I think again needs a little bit of improvement because there's a lot of micromanagement in this game and it's a little bit annoying to keep marking the same trees over and over again. At this point, I need a windmill, which means I need a miller, because then they'll make the bread. And also, I've built a coop, which does chickens, and also a place to keep some cows. What happens in here is there's a certain amount of like animals, like I think the chickens have about 20, and you can slaughter them to get materials from them. But the more you have, the quicker they'll come back. So it's like kind of a balancing act to go, right, I've got 20 chickens, I'll slaughter 10 for food and stuff, and then that means they'll keep growing. At this point, I realise winter is coming. Yes, winter is coming. I didn't realise this was a thing, and it asked me to build a wood shed. So I built a wood shed. Unfortunately, this was an issue. I clicked the wrong building, so it was a bit of wasted time there. What a wood shed does is basically makes firewood for the community so they can survive when it gets like cold. You can also do coal as well so they can keep their fires going. But yes, I built the completely wrong building without realizing, and it was almost too late. If you don't stock up for winter, if you're not prepared for winter, your people will die. Like if they don't have enough firewood, clothing, you get tailors later on. So yeah, it is something to be very aware of. At this point, I realize I've totally built the completely wrong building, and I quickly look for the woodshed and put it down. There you go. I now need 3 logs, 15 stone, and as you can see, the snow is falling, and I'm starting to panic. I'm starting to think I may not survive winter. At this point, I've got my coop down. I've got the little cows coming in. Look at them go in there. Just go through. They actually come through the gate, which is quite cool. It didn't clip through. And there you go, my little cows. But all of a sudden, there's an earthquake. I was not expecting natural disasters. There's earthquakes, there's lightning, there's a couple of others as well. These are, I think, semi-random. They are scripted, I think, in when they come down. And what they'll do is take some of your buildings down. I'm going to have to admit, I don't like this feature. This game isn't the quickest or the easiest. We're about half an hour into at this point. And as you can see, people have died. I've lost some buildings. Then people start moaning about the fact they've got nowhere to live. It's like, oh wait, man, you've just went through an earthquake. Chill out. So you have to put all your resources back into building it. And this was just, bearing in mind, one day before winter was due to hit. So it was the worst timing ever. There we go. You can see the snow falling on the ground. I did like the way it transitioned between the seasons. Like, you'll see the snow, and then when winter's over, like, the snow goes away and it comes back to greenery. But what this means is I've lost all my crops as well. They've got to be taken out before winter comes. And as you can see, lots of people walking around with red marks above their heads complaining. And then there we go. I would say a little bit late. But there we go, the woodshed is now built, and they're going to make firewood for me, so that saved me. I think if I just hadn't got that building up, we would have been screwed. Also, what's cool is the little guys make little tracks as they go around, but you can see there's lots of unhappily homeless people at the moment. Also, my herbalist got destroyed, so I now have no doctor. Winter was a bit bleak. However, I did get the windmill up and running, so I could finally feed everyone because I was down to like 2-3 food at this point. It wasn't going up. So yeah, I was quite glad to get that building down. At this point, I decided it was time to build, well, your objective told me to build a shipyard and a shipbuilder. So how this works is like the shipyard and shipbuilder and stuff, you can go fishing and get fishing, and you can build trade ships, and then you need a shipbuilder to do that as well. They're both quite resource heavy, so this did take a long time, especially after the earthquake. People were still hungry. And then I built a goat pen. So yeah, goat is one of the animals you can have in this game. So as you can see, we survived winter. I don't know how we just made it, but you can see the snow is melting. I prioritized getting my fishing hut, get me gather hut back up because it doesn't operate during the winter. Get those tree marks. Can you see how I've marked the trees? But they were already marked. Again, I said I think that needs changing. But yeah, now it is time to start prepping for the next winter. This is what this game's about. First off, I put down a mine. So this mine, I didn't realize at the time, only got coal. So I didn't have iron, so I actually had to build another mine later on. We also have a hunting hut as well, which will gather some resources for us. But you can see it's all melted. Everything's happy. Food is going up, which is always good. You can set the limit here, so like for firewood, I dropped that down a little bit. And yeah, that was winter survived. So at this point, I'd played for about an hour, and I would say this is where the game slowed down for me quite a bit. Like, it started to get a little bit like I could go off and do other things. So I built a stone pit, which is where you get lots of stone from. My dock was built, so I was able to like look at fishing boats. I then realized the shipyard itself needed 100 decorative stones. For that, I needed a stone cutter, so I'd have to build that. Then they would cut the stone, and then they would turn that into decorative blocks. So that was one way of doing that, another thing in the production line. But with my stone pit getting built, that meant I should have a lot of stone coming into the village now. So the stone cutter was up and running. Yay! I'd also built a brewery. So all we needed was barley. Barley would then be transferred into alcohol, and then everyone would be happy, wouldn't it? You can also hold festivals as well, which you need beer for. So if you get that, you can then you can have little parties and stuff. And I also built a barley storage place. There you go. I've realized my warehouse is full, so it's time to build another one. We invite some strangers in. What they do is obviously increase your population. They will require housing. It's always kind of a balancing act, and then you get like a choice, and you can maybe do it in 1 or 2 days. If you don't manage it, then they get a little bit grumpy and kick off, and you lose the task. It didn't take too long at this point to get the decorative stone, and that meant finally my shipyard was built. I put a few people in and built my first fishing boat. They only require 32 planks, so it's not too bad. What I didn't realize at this point is to build the rest of the boats, it's in the research tree, and this is what I was saying, is be careful what you spend your points on, because about an hour down the line from this, I am a bit soft locked where I can't build a trading boat because I don't have any points left, and I'm unable to get any more because I need them to complete a task. So it seemed to come around a lot quicker this time. But winter was here, which was bad news. However, this time I had 102 meals stocked up. I had loads of firewood, loads of coal. So this one didn't quite go as bad. In fact, it wasn't too bad at all. I don't think I even lost many people. Lost a few, obviously, as you'd expect. But it wasn't a bad winter all at all. All I did was concentrate on cutting down trees, get me stone place built up, and sort of cracking on with it. At this point, it actually took a while to work out how to allocate a fishing boat. Like, you'd think you'd click on the plus and then it would just show you a picture of the boat, but doesn't you have to actually click on the word fishing boat? It took a little bit of time to get that done. And then we update some more stuff, again, just to get some extra buildings. I explored the internal hammerer and weaver in the Tree of Life, which means I could build the blacksmith and the tailor. So the tailor makes clothes. The blacksmith can make like armaments and weapons and stuff like that. Yes, and finally, the tailor is done. So I put 2 people to work in there, open it up, and we'll start some fabric production. That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. Like almost all of spring to get that building done. But yeah, finally done. And another task off the list. Yeah, so at this point I had a look at doing trading, so I unlocked the trading section of the tree so that I could build a trade dock. The trade dock is built, and this is when I realized I'm kind of screwed. So I click on crew, can't find anything, click on ship. I realized that you need to build it in the Tree of Life. You need to unlock it inside there. So I go to the Tree of Life, have a look, and nothing I can go to at this point seems to unlock a boat. As far as I can tell, I need to go to Warriors, then along, I think. But I don't know because you can't see what else is out there. So I just unlocked some more stuff because I realize at this point I'm probably kind of screwed anyway. So I just make some villages better and stuff in the hope I can unlock some more. So the trader finally comes, so you can get trade ships arriving, and as you can see, I just had to play around to see how it worked. I bought some stuff, you just basically pay in silver, and off they go. It's such a shame that you can't sell stuff at that point. It would just work so much better, in my opinion. But anyway, that was about 2.5 hours of this game. I feel a little bit locked now. I feel like I might have to start all over again and be a bit careful with my spending. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the footage. I hope you enjoyed my little bit of a commentary over the top rather than just showing you, gameplay as it went. And let me know if you like this format. And again, drop it a like, subscribe for more content, and comment to let me know if you do like this sort of content, if you want to see some more like this, because it takes a long time to do. Right, guys, I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.